Rain fell on the battlefield like tears from a broken sky. Fire burned in the distance, black smoke curling upward. The ground was shaking with every step the alien war machines took forward. Soldiers screamed. Energy blasts tore through steel and flesh. Humanity was losing. Talon watched the chaos from her command ship. She was a commander of the Velari Empire, a tall alien woman with golden skin and sharp emerald eyes. Her voice was cold, her posture proud. She stood in front of the viewing screen, arms crossed. "So this is Earth's last defense?" she asked, laughing softly. "Pathetic." The generals behind her chuckled. They had seen the weakness of humans before. Their bodies were soft, their weapons old, their spirits breakable. But she wasn't just laughing at their military. She was laughing at the idea that humans could ever pose a threat to her empire. Her ship landed near the ruins of a city where resistance was reported. Troops disembarked. Drones hovered in formation. She stepped out like a queen walking onto her conquered stage. That's when the human boy appeared, covered in mud and blood, maybe 25 years old, alone, no armor. Just a cracked visor and a dented chest plate. His gun was missing, and one arm hung useless by his side. But his eyes, they weren't afraid. Talon blinked. He limped toward her, not running, not hiding. The Velari soldiers raised their rifles. Aiming. "Wait," she ordered. She wanted to see this strange act of courage up close. The boy stopped just meters away from her, breathing heavily. "You're the leader?" he asked, voice rough. She smirked. "You think a child like you can change anything now?" He didn't answer. Instead, he dropped the small device on the ground and stepped back. Talon narrowed her eyes. Too late. The explosion wasn't big, but it sent a pulse, an electromagnetic wave. Every drone, every Velari weapon, every scanner around them shut down in a blink. Lights flickered. Screens went black. Her guards panicked. Before anyone could react, the boy dashed forward and grabbed her wrist. His strength surprised her. He used his weight to pull her into a ruined building. Her guards tried to follow, but the hallway collapsed behind them. Alone. Just her and the human in the dark. She snarled and lunged, but he wasn't fighting with tech. He used instinct. Brutal, raw human instinct. She had centuries of combat training, but he fought like someone who had nothing to lose. The fight was short. She tried to claw at his eyes, but he slammed her into a metal beam. Her head rang. Her body ached. She couldn't believe it. She, a Velari warrior, was being overpowered by a broken, half-dead human. He didn't kill her. Instead, he tied her arms with some cable and looked down at her. "You laugh at us," he said, panting. "You call us weak. But you've never seen what we become when we're desperate." Then he left her in the dark. Hours passed before her soldiers found her. Her pride was shattered. She tried to explain, but the laughter from her own officers told her everything. They didn't believe a human did this, but she knew the truth, and she would find him again. Not to kill him, but to understand, because for the first time, she was afraid, and she needed to know why. Days later, across a burned-out forest, the same human boy crouched near a fire, eating dried food. His name was Jace Mercer, a combat engineer who refused to die. His squad was gone. His city was gone, but he was still here. And now he had her attention. He didn't know why he let her live. Maybe part of him wanted her to remember. To carry the message back to her people, that humans were not broken. They were unfinished. And when pushed far enough, they didn't break. They changed, from prey to predator, from weak to terrifying. He looked at the stars, wondering when she would return. He knew she would, because the war had just begun. And this time, it would not be the humans who bowed. The Velari Empire did not take insults lightly. Talon sat in the war chamber, her body bruised but her eyes burning with something new: shame. Her warriors stood silent, unsure how to treat her now. The story had spread quickly. The human who took the commander, they whispered. And worse, she let him live. Talon clenched her fists behind her back. She had replayed the encounter in her mind 100 times. The moment the boy's arm wrapped around her throat, the slam, the defeat, the shame, and the look in his eyes, not rage, not arrogance, but something she couldn't name. A human had spared her, and now she couldn't stop thinking about it. She gave a command no one expected. Find him. Bring him to me. Alive, one of her generals frowned. To kill him, my commander? Talon's voice was cold. No, to learn. Meanwhile, Jace was moving through the ruins of what once was New Geneva. Trees were black bones. Roads split. With craters. He scavenged for batteries and food, avoiding the drones. He didn't know his face was now marked across Velari scanners. He was officially dangerous. They called him the Ghost. But Jace wasn't thinking about war. He was thinking about survival. He hadn't slept in days. He hadn't seen another human in 2 weeks. His broken arm throbbed. His mind was sharp, though. Every corner, every wall, every shadow he calculated escape. But one thing kept returning in his mind. Her face. Talon. Why hadn't she fought harder? Why hadn't he finished her? He shook the thoughts away and climbed into a collapsed building to rest. Far above, in orbit, Talon's scouts had found something. Movement in Sector 12, one of them reported. Single heat signature. Could be him. Talon nodded once. Take. The silent hunters. I'll go too. The general's eyes widened. You, Commander? She didn't answer. She was already moving. On the ground, Jace was dreaming. He saw fire. Screams. His squad being ambushed. He ran back for them. Always too late. Always too slow. He woke up with a start. Something was wrong. The air was too still. He grabbed his knife and moved toward the stairwell. He didn't make it 2 steps before a net launched from the ceiling and pinned him to the floor. They were waiting. Dark shapes. Velari hunters rushed in. He kicked and twisted, but they moved fast. They tied his hands, pulled him to his feet. No weapons. No words. Then Talon stepped forward. She wasn't wearing her full armor. Just a dark combat suit, her silver hair tied back. She walked up to him slowly. Their eyes met again. You didn't run, she said softly. Jace spat to the side. Didn't get the chance. She studied his bruised face. Then, to everyone's shock, she said, untie him. The hunters froze. You heard me. They hesitated, then obeyed. Jace stood free, rubbing his wrists. He looked around, confused. Talon took a step closer. I want to understand, she said. How did you beat me? Jace looked her dead in the eye. You think this is a game? You want answers? You kill millions and now you ask questions? I didn't kill you, she replied. That's different, he growled. You lost. I let you go. You came back. Talon didn't flinch. Then kill me now, she said quietly. Jace stepped forward. For a second, the soldiers raised their rifles, but Talon lifted her hand. Silenced. He was inches from her now, and he didn't strike. Instead, he whispered, that's what you don't understand. We don't kill because we can. We fight because we must. He turned and started to walk away. Talon led him. The other Velari stared in confusion. Their commander had allowed a human to walk free. Twice. She turned to her soldiers. Follow him, she said. Do not harm him. Observe. One hunter dared to ask, why not capture him again? She stared out at the ruined world around her. Because we've conquered many planets, she said. But we've never met anything like him. She didn't say it aloud, but something had changed in her. It was no longer just about studying the human. It was something deeper. A feeling she couldn't name, a weakness she couldn't accept. And yet she didn't want it to stop. Jace moved like a shadow between broken buildings, always watching, always listening. He knew he was being followed. The forest edge cracked where no bird called. The air behind him shifted without wind. It wasn't paranoia. It was war. He had learned to survive after his team died. No backup, no command. No rescue, only instincts. And his instincts screamed Velari eyes were watching. He didn't run. Instead, he led them. He moved through old sewer paths overgrown. Ruins, radiation-soaked fields where only the mad dared walk. He wasn't hiding. He was testing them. By nightfall, he reached a bunker buried deep under rubble. The metal door groaned as he forced it open. Inside was something the Velari scouts didn't expect. Humans. Wounded, weak, but alive. A dozen civilians and 2 injured soldiers, barely hanging on. A child gasped, "It's him, the ghost." Jace knelt and offered food. A woman cried. "I told them someone would come," she whispered. But Jace shook his head. "I'm not here to save you. I'm here to prepare you." The others looked confused. He pointed toward the sky. "They're watching. I let them follow me." The soldier beside him cursed. "You led them here?" "No," Jace said. "I brought them here." Above ground, Talon stood silently near her scout. He entered a bunker. The Velari whispered. "Civilians inside. Survivors." Talon gave no order. Instead, she walked alone into the ruins. No guards, no drones. She approached the broken bunker entrance. Jace was waiting at the door, arms folded. "You came alone," he said. Talon nodded. "I had to know what you were hiding." He stepped aside. "Then come see." Inside, she saw pain, hunger, children sleeping on cold concrete, people with sunken eyes. Her soldiers had reported total destruction. No humans left. They were wrong. Jace leaned close and whispered, "Now, you understand. We're not gone. We're underground. We're angry, and we're not done yet." She turned to him slowly. "You're feeding them?" "I'm training them." "For what?" He answered with one word, "Return." Talon took a step back. She wasn't afraid of weapons. She was afraid of what she saw in those people's eyes. Hope was harder to kill than any army. She looked at Jace again. "You're still weak," she said, though her voice shook slightly. Jace picked up a child who clung to him like family. "Then why are your people following me?" he asked. She said nothing. Her heart was pounding in her chest. Velari warriors didn't feel fear. But she felt something now, respect, curiosity, and something that made her feel exposed. He wasn't just a survivor anymore. He was a symbol, a threat no empire could silence. She walked out of the bunker alone. Her hunters waited. "What did you see?" One asked. She gave no answer. She just stared at the stars and wondered, what if we're not the conquerors anymore? What if we're just the beginning of their evolution? Back inside, Jace looked at the old maps spread on the table. "Next we move," he told the soldier. But she saw us. She saw what I wanted her to see. Jace circled a region on the map. "It's time the Velari learn. We don't surrender. We adapt." Outside, a storm was building. And this time, it wasn't in the sky. The forest burned behind them as Jace led the survivors through the hills. The children were silent. The adults marched with empty stomachs and tired feet. But no one complained. Not after what they had seen in Jace's eyes. He had become more than a man. To them, he was purpose. Each night, they moved deeper into the wild lands. The Velari ignored places filled with broken satellites, strange signals, and Earth's old secrets. Jace knew what he was searching for. The bunker marked Project Emberlight. It had been hidden even from Earth's governments. But his squad once guarded it. He still remembered the codes. The Velari couldn't read Earth's forgotten defenses, but Jace could. Far above, Talon stared at the maps inside her warcruiser. Her fingers hovered over Earth's surface scans. Her soldiers marked troop movements, drone feeds, heat traces, Yet none of them could find Jace. It had been 2 days since she entered the human bunker. 2 days since she saw their strength wasn't in weapons, but in each other. She hated how her thoughts kept returning to him. One general stepped forward. "We received a signal from the ruins near Mount Rail." She raised an eyebrow. "Human?" "Possibly. Strange energy signature, deep underground." Talon's heart jumped. She didn't show it. "Send the fleet?" "No," she said. "Only me." The general stiffened. "Commander, that's the 3rd time I said only me." She didn't trust anyone else now. If Jace had found something, she needed to be the one to face it. Below ground, Jace entered the rusted hallway of the ancient base. Dust floated in the beams of his headlamp. The power was gone, but the old generator still hummed faintly when he forced it on. Rows of lights buzzed. The survivors waited at the entrance while he and the soldier explored. "Are you sure it's safe?" the soldier asked. Jace didn't look back. "No, but that never stopped me before." Inside the final chamber, it waited cold steel walls surrounding the tall, pod-like device. It looked like a coffin and a missile fused together. Project Emberlight. Not a weapon, a signal booster. A transmitter built to reach other colonies, or maybe other human strongholds in deep space. Jace. He wiped the dust off the panel. "Can we power it?" the soldier asked. "Only for 10 minutes, Jace replied. "Is 10 minutes enough?" Jace smiled. "It's all I need." Hours later, Talon arrived at the mouth of the cave alone. The ash in the air made her cough. She stepped inside slowly. No guards. No traps. Just silence. Then she heard a voice echo through the walls. It was his. He wasn't speaking to her. He was recording. "If you're out there," Jace said into the console, "Earth still lives. We're broken, but not beaten. If you're human, come home. If you're listening, we're rising again." Talon stepped forward. Her footsteps echoed. Jace turned, surprised, but only for a moment. He didn't raise a weapon. Neither did she. They stood face to face in that glowing room. "You found it," she said. "I never stopped looking. You're sending a message?" Jace nodded. "A warning. A call. Maybe both." Talon hesitated. Then she said something she never expected to say. "I want to help." Jace's eyes narrowed. "You're serious?" She stepped closer. "I saw what you've done. What you've built. The others won't stop. But I want to know who you really are." Jace looked at her. This time, he saw no arrogance, no pride, only doubt. And that meant something was changing. In both of them. "We send this message," Jace said, "and your empire won't forgive you." Talon looked away. "Maybe I don't want their forgiveness anymore." Outside, the winds howled. But inside that dark room, a new signal hummed. Earth had just reached out again, and the galaxy was listening. The message had gone out. Across space, through damaged satellites and half-dead relays, it echoed Jace's voice calling out to any humans left beyond Earth. Colonies long thought silence stirred. Old defense beacons blinked awake. Someone was listening. In the cave, the survivors slept while the power core cooled. But Jace couldn't sleep. Neither could Talon. She stood beside him, arms folded, eyes fixed on the silent screen. "You think they'll come?" she asked. "I don't know," he said. "But hope is a dangerous thing, even more than your weapons." She didn't laugh this time. Talon had been taught all her life that weakness was to be crushed. Yet this man, this human, had shown her something she couldn't defeat: belief, and worse, kindness. He offered her food, let her sit near the fire. The others didn't like it, but they obeyed Jace. They trusted him. He had earned that, but trust was new to her. "I need to return," Talon said suddenly. Jace turned. "To your people?" She nodded. "They're planning an orbital strike. They've tracked your position." His jaw tightened. "And you told me now?" "I didn't come to warn you," she said. "I came to choose." Jace stared at her. Choose what? Whether to stand with you, or stay silent. Outside the cave, clouds parted. A bright light shone in the sky. It wasn't a star. It was a targeting drone. Jace's eyes widened. Get them out, he shouted to the soldier nearby. All of them now. The survivors scrambled to escape. As Jace grabbed the device's core and stuffed it in his pack, Talon ran beside him. The cave shook. Beam of red light blasted the mountain's top. Dust and flame roared behind them. Rocks tumbled as they jumped into a trench. Boom. The entrance collapsed. They coughed through the dust. Everyone had made it. But the bunker and its signal system was gone. Jace fell to his knees, fists clenched. We were too slow. No, Talon said, her voice shaky. You were fast enough. He looked up and saw her pointing to the sky. High above, several dots shimmered. Ships, human ships. Not Velari. The message had reached someone. Talon whispered. They answered. Jace stood slowly, but behind them, another sound echoed. Velari warships entering the atmosphere. They weren't coming to talk. They were coming to erase what was left. Jace turned to Talon. You said you came to choose. This is your moment. She didn't hesitate. She pressed a button on her wrist. It linked to her personal command codes. Redirect Velari targeting systems, she said aloud. Set coordinates, my cruiser. What are you doing? Jace asked. She stared into his eyes. Buying you time. Seconds later, her cruiser lit up in the sky. It exploded into pieces. A flash of silver and fire. The Velari hesitated. Confusion spread. Their leader had just destroyed her own ship. Talon turned back to Jace. This is the only way I can make them stop looking at you. Jace grabbed her arm. Come with us. But she shook her head. If I vanish, they'll hunt forever. But if I make them think I've died, they'll fall back. Jace was quiet. He didn't want to believe her, but he knew she was right. She leaned close and whispered. You made me see what strength really means. Tell your people. Tell them I bowed, not because I was defeated, but because I understood. Then she turned and walked into the smoke. Her armor flickered. A stealth field activated. She disappeared. Jace stood there, breathing hard. He didn't know if he'd ever see her again, but he knew what he had to do now. He looked at the survivors. Get ready, he said. We've got company. And this time, Earth wouldn't be silent. The wind howled across the crater where the bunker once stood. Smoke curled from blackened rocks. The survivors huddled together, cold but alive. Above them, the sky shimmered with streaks of fire ships descending fast. But they weren't Velari. The human fleet had arrived. Sleek and silver, the ships formed a circle in the sky. Dropships broke off and landed near the ridge. For the first time in years, Earth's forgotten children returned. Jace stood at the front, his clothes torn, his face covered in ash. His arm was still broken, his voice hoarse. But his eyes burned with purpose. A ramp opened from one of the ships. Out stepped a tall woman in white armor. Her face was pale, her eyes human. She walked straight toward Jace. You sent the signal? She asked. Jace nodded. Then you're the one we've been waiting for. Behind her, soldiers moved fast. Medical tents, supply crates, defense turrets. In minutes, a camp formed. The survivors were pulled from the edge of death. Children were given food. The wounded were treated. The old soldier who had followed Jace gripped his shoulder. You did it, he said quietly. You brought them back. Jace didn't smile. Not yet, because the sky still held danger. The Velari ships hovered at the edge of the atmosphere, watching, waiting, unsure. Their leader was gone. Talon had disappeared in fire and smoke. Her signal was lost without her. They hesitated. Then came the voice. Not Jace's, not the new commander. It was Talon. Her voice echoed from the deep com systems across both human and Velari channels. "This is Commander Talon of the Valari Empire," she said. "I speak now. Not as a conqueror, but as someone who has seen the truth." Jace froze. The others stared at the sky. Talon continued, her tone calm and sharp. "The humans are not broken. They are not finished. They are beginning. And if we choose war again, we choose extinction." The Valari fleet didn't fire. Instead, they slowly turned and left Earth's orbit. The humans erupted into cheers, but Jace said nothing. He stood, alone, staring at the sky. Later that night, as fires burned gently across the valley and laughter returned to human voices, the tall woman in white approached him again. "Your name?" she asked. "Jace Mercer," he replied. She saluted. "You're a hero, Jace." He looked down. "I'm just a man who refused to die." She smiled. "Sometimes, that's all it takes." Jace walked away from the firelight. The stars blinked. Above, somewhere out there, Talon still lived. Maybe one day their paths would cross again. But for now, the war was over. And for the first time, Earth had something it had nearly forgotten. Hope.